everyone, and welcome to today's Drama Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Let's get right to it. So at the PCPD, Sonny's arraignment is today. We are moving along swiftly. The evidence is thin against him, to say the least. Dante thinks it's possible that someone else is responsible. Jordan thinks he's not being impartial. And he thinks they need to look at more angles. And Jordan throws him off the case. And I'm like, oh my god, it's time for Dante and Jason to work together again. I'm so ready for this. Circa 2011 storyline type stuff that kind of prompted me and Cassie to go to California. Fun times. So anyway, Michael comes in. He's there to support Sonny, and he feels Sonny is being railroaded, or he doesn't want Sonny to be railroaded. Michael mentions that he knows what Jason found, and he knows Sonny's not guilty. And amazingly, Jordan doesn't even ask what he meant by that. So, like, I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, I feel like this isn't like Jordan. Like, it's so thin, and it just kind of feels beneath her. I don't know. It doesn't feel like her, you know? So then, you know, skip, the arraignment is over. He pleaded not guilty. He's under house arrest, but he has to stay cuffed until he's at the house, because why not? So Dante checks in with Sonny, and Sonny says he truly believed everything at the church, and Dante says the evidence is flimsy, which I don't think he should have said. At the quarter meetings, Tracy checks in on Hayden, and she feels a bit better. So the sepsis is gone, and maybe the antibiotics were able to cure the underlying infection. And if they did catch it early enough, it was possible for the medicine to work. Or at least that's what Finn told Hayden. So Curtis shows up. Finn had called him. Tracy and Finn step out, and they're so adorable together. They really are. The back and forth between... Finally, Tracy has a counterpart that she can just have this back and forth with. Her and Monica, like, that's different. It's a different dynamic. Like, they're gold together, don't get me wrong. It's a different dynamic. But her and Finn, like, just their back and forth they have, it makes my day. So Hayden tells Curtis she was exposed to something in Finn's lab, and she doesn't want to make him feel worse about it. And Curtis thinks Hayden has feelings for Finn, and she just says she's like really scared of like what's going on and everything. Curtis leaves after talking her up a bit. Tracy doesn't buy Finn's act. She thinks that he lied to Hayden about possibly being cured, and she thinks he's just scared too. So Finn is running low on medication, and then Hayden may need it, and he's like, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, not if you live in New Jersey. So Curtis thanks Finn for the heads up about Hayden. Finn and Tracy go back in, and Hayden is up and wants to take a shower. So Finn and Tracy play backgammon. I believe that's backgammon, because that's what they like to play, right? It was either that or like bridge. I don't remember. No, bridge is a card game. Backgammon is that weird board thing. So they're playing for favors. Excuse you?
I used to play backgammon.
Yeah, and it's played on a weird board thing.
It's not weird. It's a very fun game.
Do I understand how the board works? No.
Just because you don't understand doesn't make it weird.
That's how I see life. So, instead of playing for money, they're playing for favors. So after Finn wins, he asks Tracy if Hayden can stay at the house, and she'll run it by Monica. So Finn walks in on Hayden in a towel, which I think was supposed to have a lot more of an effect than it did, to be quite honest with you. So Tracy comes back upstairs. Monica has approved of Hayden staying there, and the cook wants to know her favorite dish so she can make it, or he can make it. I'm not quite sure. So Tracy invites Hayden to stay. Finn gets a call. The labs are back. At Kelly's, so Oscar has been dead since 1990, 2 years before I showed up. So someone has stolen his identity. Can I help you over there? Because that's what happened. I just showed up one day. That's what happened. Oh, hi, E-Cat. How are you today?
Now, E-Cat just showed up one day.
That's true.
But you took a lot more work.
So, someone has stolen Oscar's identity, and there's an online account in China paying him. So, Sam and Jason figure they need the surveillance tape from the mini-mart across the street, because that probably saw something. And Curtis comes in with the tape on his phone. So, he's, like, holding up his phone. I thought it was a tape at first, because remember, like, those little, not diskettes, but the little, VHS tapes. I guess it wouldn't be a VHS, but like the mini, you know what I mean. Do they still have those? I don't know. So I still live in 1994. So Curtis tells them Julian knows nothing about this. Julian actually fired him, and he's in this for the truth, and he wants to team up. So he says, I watched the footage, there's nothing on the footage. A delivery van blocked the view of Julian's car, which is so strange, right? So Jason asks Curtis why he's interested, and Curtis says he really just wants to know the truth, and there was something off with how he was fired, and he's also kind of, about that. And they shake hands, and I'm like, yay, buddies! But I kind of wanted Dante to be in on this, but maybe it can be the 4 or 3 of them, depending on how involved Sam is going to be. But I'm so into this. So at the Metro Court, Kiki and Nell have some FaceTime. Nell asks how Kiki's doing, and she brings up how things ended between her and Morgan, and Kiki wishes she could change how he felt. So Nell kind of words around and gets Kiki to tell her more about Sonny and Carly, and I was like, what are you digging for? Like, why? What is your end game now? See, Nell has done this to my bangs. So, that it's their 5th wedding. Kiki thinks they can find their way back to each other. And then Nell asks about Jax, because that's not definitely suspicious. Okay, bangs, you're just going that way. So Kiki lets in that there's friction between Jax and Sonny, and not just because they share Carly. And Nell asks if she thinks Jax and Carly will get back together. Kiki says Morgan always thought they were better as friends, and Carly and Sonny, like, they belong with each other. So Nell leaves as she has to get this research she was working on to Carly. At Carly's place, Jax and Carly are kissing, and Carly is 100% like totally into this. Jax stops them twice. He's tempted, but he thinks she's just kissing him because it's Sonny. So he must have watched Friday's video where I pointed that out. So he points out that she's still married. He's not judging or anything. And she just wants comfort. And then she steps back from it too. She doesn't want him to think she's using him. And she says she's sorry. And he says she doesn't need to be embarrassed. He's here for her. So Carly feels that she should have walked away from Sonny a long time ago. She has to leave him now. She feels so empty, and she doesn't know if the pain will ever go away. He says she will move on. He'll be here for her in the meantime, always, as a good friend who knows her inside and out. And then someone's at the door. It's Dante. He just came from Sonny's arraignment. So he asks if she knows what Jason told Sonny. And she's like, well, what did Sonny tell you? And he's like, well, Sonny didn't want to talk to police. And she's like, okay, then I'm not saying anything. So, just kind of reinforcing what Kiki and Morgan said. So, he tells her that Sonny's on house arrest and he's wearing an ankle monitor, which kind of seemed to intrigue her a little bit. Maybe this makes her think that Sonny can't do anything retaliatory, even if he wanted to. So, there's just something interesting there. So, Nell comes in, and Dante was leaving anyway. Nell gives Carly the linen research, which is just so important. She also picked up the guest book for Morgan's funeral, so Carly can look through and see all the nice things people wrote about Morgan. Jax asked Nell if she could book him a suite at the Metro Court. At Sonny's place, Diane says she can get him out of this, and by the time the trial rolls around, Jason will have probably found the actual killer, and she finds a way to stay, and he says he'll be fine. So there's someone at the door. It's Dante, making the rounds. Not here as a cop, though. And now end scene. So Hayden won't stay. Tracy insists in her Tracy way. And she says Finn will be mad at both of them if she doesn't stay. Finn gets the results and he seems sad and scared. So that doesn't seem good. Jason and Curtis think the van was parked there specifically to block the camera. Dante tells Sonny that he told Carly that he's home. Carly says that it's not necessary to book Jax a room. He'll be staying there. Nell offers to put the research in Carly's office for her. And after Nell leaves the room, Carly and Jax are talking about their kiss and how they're not going to talk about it. And Nell overhears that. And I was like, Michael asks Kiki if she's seen Nell, then tells her Sonny's on house arrest. He wants to ask Nell to keep an eye on Sonny so Michael will know if he needs anything and is too proud to ask. And that's where we leave off for the day. So, I feel like it's just going to be a very, well, actually we're going to have Thanksgiving coming up, so it should be a lighter week, hopefully. And I will see you tomorrow for more Drama Hospital, and I hope you have a great night. Bye!